The one decision you're too afraid to make could be the very thing that sets you free in the best possible way. Hey guys, welcome and thank you for joining me this week. I'm super pumped to announce our guest, Allison Giordano. She is founder of Elevated Escapes, and she's actually an Airbnb host that I met while I was traveling. So the Airbnb that we stayed in Lake Tahoe was one of Allison's, and I reached out to her and asked her about her story and wanted her to share it on the show with you guys. She's got a lot of really cool experience and her journey is really awesome. So welcome, Allison. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi there. How are you?
Doing good. Thank you.
Good. I'm Allie, and I live in Lake Tahoe. Been here for 17 years on and off. And I own a vacation rental property management company that I kind of built by accident. So, and now we're here.
I love that. So one of my interests, obviously, and I don't think you and I have actually talked about this, but my husband and I are, looking to build I think I did mention it to you, our own Airbnb community. And so obviously, watching your journey and learning about you, that really inspired me. Tell us how you got into it. I think it's really cool, your corporate career, and then now your entrepreneurial career. So tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. Yeah. I come from a timeshare background. I moved here when I was 22 years old and from Vermont, and wanted just a different life, and found it certainly. And I stumbled upon the timeshare industry, and I got into sales when I was 22. And it was a very, very cool career. It was an accidental, entry into it. I just was looking for any kind of job. And so I gave it a shot, and I found out that I was actually pretty good at it. And I was passionate about it, because travel is something that I think sometimes people have to force to take, time out to commit to it. And so I really loved what I did. And I did it for 13 years, and it was awesome. But at some point I was, traveling all over the world. I was going from Tahoe to Breckenridge to Tahoe to Hawaii to Tahoe to Whistler to wherever the next, contract was going to take me. And, it was great. But at some point, when somebody else is telling you when you can and cannot take vacation times, and I'm supposed to be selling vacations, and then I get told I can't take a vacation, it got a little old. And I just got burnt out. And, my husband and I decided to plan for the big launch, because I was making a lot of money. And so when you go from making a lot of money from a corporate job in the golden handcuffs, and you decide that you're going to just dive off a cliff and not have any idea what's on the other side, which we had no idea what was on the other side. We decided to save, and we saved for a whole year, and we bought as much real estate as we possibly could to support some, cash flow while we were figuring out all the entrepreneur stuff. And so we bought a little condo on the top of Kingsbury, and a 5-unit apartment building that in Florida with his parents. So, but the condo was just going to be our primary residence. We just wanted a place to live in Tahoe. And we already had another duplex down there. So either way, we had a terrible eviction process previously. So when we closed on the condo, we actually closed on it from Colombia, because we went on a 6-month backpacking trip, right in between ending my career and then starting the next thing. And so we closed on the condo from the beach, and I didn't want to get a long-term tenant in there, because I knew we were coming home in 6 months. Didn't want to go through that again. So I threw it up on Airbnb, and just to see what happened. And all of a sudden it worked. And I had just one housekeeper and a handyman back at home, just friends of mine. And the handyman who actually, was the one helping me, actually is now my maintenance director. So his name's Eric. And so, yeah, we've known each other for 32 years. So
that's awesome. Yeah, that's such a cool story. So just so you guys know, Allison sent me her story, and she was selling ski in and out chalets. And she, was doing really well. Like me, you hit that ceiling when you're climbing the corporate ladder, and then you're like, what's next? And you're totally right. Like, I like to say as an entrepreneur, I'm my own boss, and I do get to prove my own PTO, but you're still, you're the boss, your clients are your boss, or in your case, your guests.
Yes.
So clients, I love that.
Guests, and my team.
Yeah. And so taking that dive, like you and your husband took that dive, Danny and I took that dive. I think it's scary for a lot of individuals. And I think with the Great Recession, or what is it? Yeah, not recession, the Great Resignation. Sorry, that people are doing more of things that they're passionate about, like you said, that set your soul on fire, and that are, really like you don't mind going to work every day because you're doing something that you love and you enjoy. And so it's really cool that yours is in the travel industry and you came from a travel background, and it's normal that the travel agent doesn't get to go on vacation, or that the painter's house needs painting and the cleaner's house needs cleaning. That's just how life is. But yeah, totally cool. So now you guys have, I looked at some of your rentals, and obviously I stayed in one, and had such a great experience with you guys. And it was so beautiful in Lake Tahoe. We got out before the snow hit. We saw them. We didn't understand what those large markers were in the driveway. My husband was like, why are they putting these stickers, these poles up? And then we realized the snow was coming, and it's so people could find their driveway. And we were like, we got to get out of here.
Yeah, those are the snow stakes. That's so that the plow plows your driveway and not your front yard.
Yeah, that was so funny. We were like, what is this? Oh my gosh, these are tall. It's a lot of snow coming. So I love that industry that you're in, and what you guys have built. And so you've said now that you guys are, how many years have you been doing it?
7. So that was 7 years ago. That was 7 years ago. Yeah, we left Breckenridge in 2016. So
that's awesome.
At the end of the winter, so April.
That's awesome. So you guys now have 25 rentals and 18 or 17 employees, I think you said. And are all of your places there locally?
Yeah, they're all in South Lake Tahoe area. So, well, actually, I'm sorry. I have 2 in Vermont. They're friends of mine. So it's a little different. I mean, it's my dad and one of my friends from college. So, but I don't really, they're all, most of them are here on the South Shore, where I have my own cleaning team and my own boots on the ground team. So they are anywhere between out in Myers, which is actually the California side of town where you were staying in. And then the city of South Lake Tahoe is in the center of town, and short-term rentals are actually banned in the city. So those are all 31 night or longer rentals. And then on the Nevada side, we have a bunch of short-term permits as well.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So for people that are wanting to build like me, that, I know you mentioned you're studying the Burr method. I'm studying that as well. But for people wanting to go into this industry, because I hear people say it all the time, and some people have a couple of Airbnbs scattered here and there and just dabble in it. Some, have intentions on it. What's your best tip or trick or piece of advice that you would give to folks?
As far as like investing in them, or like being a property manager, I guess, because there's kind of a difference.
Probably both. I mean, some people want to invest, and then, I assume maybe there are folks that are just property managers that don't own their own, that handle it like I guess Airbnb is. So, but yeah, sure. Either.
I mean, from the property management side, it's really all about treating your clients and your guests and your team fairly, and with kindness, and if you're trying to take and take and take, it's just not going to work out. You're not going to get referrals. You're not going to grow. You're not going to create a good product, so you basically have 3 groups of people that you need to keep very happy at all times. And it can be a lot, but as long as you treat people the way that you would expect to be treated if you were on the other side of the transaction, it works out. And one step at a time, you learn, I went with red bedding. I don't know why I did that. I was like, oh, it'll match the curtains. And then I saw all this white bedding, and I was like, why wouldn't I not do that in the beginning? I was afraid of the bleaching and everything, but I tell you what, they're so beautiful. The white bedding, just little things like that you kind of pick up along the way.
It's Danny and I've been traveling for the last 7 months and staying in Airbnbs, and there are some that, feel like home, and that just feel so comfortable and cozy. And yours was one of those places, that we just were able to relax and settle in. Cute 3-bedroom ranch. Like, it was awesome. The bears weren't awesome, but everything else was awesome. But yeah, so I think that's awesome. I love that you guys have grown
over time and that kind of thing. I mean, like we have every single supply that we need to leave out, and like and when we talk to a new homeowner, we have a checklist of all the kitchen items that they need to supply, and if so we just go through and rummage through their house and rummage through their kitchen and make a checklist of what they have and match it up, and then whatever's missing from the list I order. And I just take it off the first dividend. So every single house that people stay in are fully stocked, with all the toiletries and everything. So And if you try to make that consistent across every single house, that becomes part of your brand.
Yeah, for sure. I for sure see that. And it's the little things. I don't think that people realize that it is the little things like you speak of that I've noticed when I walk into an Airbnb and it has something specific or a detail that I wouldn't have thought of. I'm like, yes, I love this. It's so good. So for sure. Well, your communication was above par for me. I mean, we did a really great job of communicating while we were there. We thoroughly enjoyed the stay. And we'll definitely come back next time we're in Lake Tahoe. So I definitely recommend you guys checking out Allison's site. It's going to be Elevated Escapes with an S.com.
Yep. ElevatedEscapesTahoe.com. Yep.
Okay, ElevatedEscapesTahoe.com. And we'll put that up on the screen for you followers to check out. But I highly recommend if you're heading out that way, if you're any of my skiing followers, definitely you want to check out Allison's places. They're her and her husband just were really totally a joy to work with. And I think that I've stayed in great Airbnbs. I've stayed in some not so great ones. I've stayed in some where the communication was horrible and some where it was the perfect amount. And, you know, I think for people that are wanting to travel and people like myself and my husband, you want to have a host that's responsive, but that's not in your face. And so I think that, you know, that everybody kind of thinks that through when you're reading, especially about the Airbnb that you're choosing. And so, you know, Allison and her husband were super communicative, but only as needed. And were super helpful with any tips and tricks or local things that we should check out or see. So I highly advise if you guys are heading out to Reno or Lake Tahoe and you're in that area that she has spaces, definitely look into it and visit it. It'll be a positive experience, I'm sure. So anything else that you want to add, Allison?
Not that I can really think of. I mean, if you're thinking about following your dreams and getting out of the corporate grind and doing something new, you just have to believe in yourself, and you are going to make mistakes, and that's okay. As long as you learn from them, they're not mistakes.
100% agreed. I've done that. My business has morphed. I started at the end of 2018 and it's taken on new ways that I never could have dreamed or imagined. And so that's so true. And it's hard. I admire Allison because I can relate to the fact of it's hard to leave your corporate job and just trust and take that leap of faith and believe in yourself. And it's about showing up every day for yourself, folks. She didn't get here in 7 years with 25 places to rent by not hustling. You know, she got out there and she made it happen. And that's what entrepreneurship is about. So, well, thank you so much for joining us this week. I really appreciate you coming on, and I'm so excited to see and follow your journey and what else you add to it. I'm going to secretly be stalking you a little bit because I'm learning as I go. You know, Danny and I look to buy our first Airbnb. I'm sure I'll be reaching out and wanting to have combos with you like, okay, now what?
Sounds great. Yes, sounds great. Yes. And the other key, very, very quickly, a software system is very, very important if you have more than 10, even if you have more than 5. So a lot of the communication, you know, they're all on automated messages. You know, you get your 3-day, you get your 7-day before check-in, you get your instant confirmation, your 7-day before check-in, your 3-day before check-in with all the activities and that kind of thing in restaurants. And then the day before check-in, day after check, or, you know, the whole day before checkout, day after checkout, there's a whole automation series. And then I just have to answer questions and that's it. So I don't have to actually reach out. It's all automated, but then I'm always here. You know, I'm work day shift and I have a virtual assistant who works night shift from the Philippines. So it's a 24-hour, 7-day a week guest message, you know, response. And we respond in less than an hour, normally 30 minutes, sometimes instant. And that's really important.
I agree.
If you can't be there in front of your computer by yourself, you need to hire somebody who can.
Yeah, that's good advice because look, you know, that communication piece is so critical and the response time is critical. But Allison did say in her note to me that she works a lot. So I can understand that because I'm a workaholic as well.
Yeah.
And so I admire that because, you know, anything that worth having is worth working for. And it's super critical and important that you stay dedicated to, you know, and follow your passions and pursue your dreams, but show up for yourself every day. And I love that. So thank you so much for coming on.
I can work from the beach. That's the nice thing.
Yes, she can work wherever she wants to work in one of her vacation homes. She's got to be responsive. So that comes with all jobs, right?
Yep, exactly right.
Well, awesome. Well, thank you so much. And anytime that you want to come back on, feel free to reach out. We love having you here. I think people want to hear about Airbnb and specifically just, you know, the ebbs and flows of it, because I think it's its own thing and its own dynamics. Like I didn't think about, oh yeah, somebody needs to answer at night. Like I figured it would be like property management that I'm in. If, water heater breaks, somebody's gonna call my phone, I'll know. But yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of pieces to this puzzle that we're not familiar with as people that aren't doing it. So it's great to hear from the insight from someone like yourself that has that experience. But thank you so much for your time, and thank you for coming on our show. And I'm super excited to get this one out for our listeners. And again, if you guys want to stay in one of Allison's places, you can check it out at elevatedescapestahoe.com and go rent you some space and have some good time while they got some snow on the ground. Because I don't know if you guys can see it in her back window, but I can. And I got out of there just in time, but they got a dump full of snow. There you go.
Oh yeah.
So,
we sure did.
Thanks so much. All right. Well, take care. Thank you for joining. Have a great weekend. We'll be back talking to you guys soon. Take care, guys.
Hey guys, if you like this episode, please hit like and subscribe.